Hi, I'm Barbara Hay. I'm the founder of Awesome Coaching for Kids. I help children and their parents often to recognise and manage their emotions. This means the children I work with can feel more confident, develop a sense of self-esteem, and as a result these children often feel happier, socially more involved, and academically their results can improve too. Because for all of us, our issues are embedded in our emotions and the inability to manage those emotions. This is particularly difficult for children as their young minds are not yet sufficiently developed to be able to process what is happening to them and around them. Before the age of 7, the mind of a child thinks very much in black or white terms. This is called nominal processing. And this is why it's so very difficult for children to have any understanding of what they feel and how they feel and what to do with those feelings. So they completely depend on their parents and caregivers to give them the support they need to identify, evaluate, navigate and regulate their emotions. And it's really important to do this because failure to figure out what you're feeling and the purpose of those feelings will inevitably result in confusion, anger and negative behaviours as well. So what can you do as a parent or caregiver to help your child in the most positive way? Well, this video is just one video in a series, help you to design ways of changing your parenting style, which can have a positive influence on your child and on your relationship with your child. My aim is to help your child to be the best version of themselves. Now, before I share with you 3 very powerful parenting tips, I need to explain how our mind works. It's really important to know this, but I will keep it short and to the point. Firstly, I want you to think about this. Neuroscience informs us that 90% and possibly more than 90% of our functioning is from a subconscious level. That means there's 10% or just less of our functioning from a conscious level. Now, if you were to think about that for a moment, that's incredible. And it means that most of how we behave, what we think, how we feel, and what we say comes from a subconscious level. So the information we need in order to interact, make decisions and choices is already held in our subconscious mind. Therefore, then you can understand that the information that your mind gathers and stores acts as the rules for living. So your child is behaving exactly the same way. Everything that she or he can see and feel and experience will be stored in a part of the brain called the hippocampus, and those memories and events will have emotions attached to them, positive ones or negative ones, and these become the rule for living. And the influences around your child will all be her learnings and add to the subconscious understanding. Secondly, we use our most primitive part of our brain for survival. Now, we're born to survive as an individual, but within a part of a species. So there's a very strong sense of survival in every single one of us. But we need the connectivity in order to survive. We are a group species, if you like. So there are several but very important messages in this video, and the rules for living, there are several, but I want to just explain just 3 of them. I'll let you know about 3 of them at the moment, but there are more than that. But I've picked these 3 in particular because it's really pertinent to the message in this video. So we're hardwired to create friendships and alliances. We are hardwired to avoid predators. And we're hardwired, when appropriate, to select a suitable mate. Now, these are just 3 of a handful of rules for survival as a species, but although we're not cavemen any longer and we live in the 21st century, we still exist under these rules for living and rules for surviving. You notice all 3 of those rules require support and approval from others. And that is the problem, that's the rub. We constantly seek approval from others, all of the time. That's why we get so worked up when we go for job interviews, or we get so offended when somebody says something unpleasant about us, or we don't get that invite to a party that all our other friends have been invited to. Approval from others is so important. We spend all of our time gathering evidence that we're approved of, and none more so than children. In fact, children constantly and overtly seek evidence in ways that could actually drive you crazy, and you're probably well aware of that. So this leads me to my 3 top tips, my vital parenting tips. Number 1, don't dismiss. It's very easy to dismiss your child's thoughts and views and feelings. In fact, I would say that it's very challenging for you to be aware of what your child's trying to communicating to you, and for you not to dismiss their views or their thoughts or their feelings. This is not a criticism of your parenting skills or you. It's just that life has a way of supplying to us so many pressures and stresses. We often don't have the time to listen and understand what our children are trying to communicate to us. In another video, I will show you how you can decode what your child is trying to tell you. In the meantime, phrases like, "Not now, Joe," "Let me do this first," "Because I said so," "Stop crying," they're all examples of dismissing your child. Have you ever said these kind of statements to your kids? Number 2, don't criticise. Okay, you might instantly right now be thinking that you don't criticise your child or his behaviour or his dialogue. But I think we all do, and I think we don't even realise it. "Jade, that's not a good idea. You can't put pink icing on a boy's birthday cake." "Why did you say that? Henry didn't mean to hurt you." "Oh, you're old enough to know better." You see, simple everyday messages are all forms of criticism. When we take in criticism, it alerts us to the fact that we're not being approved of, and this begins to erode our self-esteem. I was in Tesco's a while ago, and a very tired, harassed mum was obviously trying to do the family shopping for dinner that evening. And with her was her young son, and he was trailing behind her and desperately trying to communicate a message to her. He must have been feeling really quite sad and disappointed. And the dialogue, however, was seemingly average and normal and harmless. When it's something like this, "Mum, Sarah was really horrible to me today. She said mean things and..." "Well, what do you expect when you treat her the way you do sometimes?" Poor lad, his face showed a picture. Instantly, Mum failed to notice her son's emotional needs. He was really looking for empathy, care and support. She dismissed his feelings by simply failing to listen and acknowledge the message he was trying to impart, and she instantly criticised. The boy's subconscious brain would now be working overtime, alerting to the very real threat of not being approved of. And this learning contributes to feelings of shame, disapproval, lack of self-esteem, feeling unlovable, leading to erosion of confidence and self-worth. So what could a mum done differently? Well, firstly, she could have listened, made eye contact and empathised. "Yes, Sam, I know it feels when some people say horrible things sometimes. It really hurts. Poor you. Look, let's get the shopping done and we can talk about this over dinner. Give me a hand. What do you think about having spaghetti bolognese?" Later that evening, Mum could ask, "Sam, you know when Sarah said some rotten things to you today, do you think sometimes you provoke her?" "What do you mean, Mum?" "Well, do you think that you may have been a bit rude or a bit off with Sarah in the past?" Probably." "So what can we do to ensure that you two aren't horrible to each other in the future then, Sam?" I guess I could stop being mean to her at school on the playground. Do you think that will help?" "I think so. I think Sarah won't be mean to... I think so. I think Sarah won't be mean to me if I'm nice to her." "Well, that sounds like a good idea." So I get this process takes a bit longer, but I believe it's worth it in order to help your child grow confident, feel safe and grow connection with you that enhances that relationship. Now, after a short while, you will begin to notice the difference in your child's behaviour, because feeling understood means feeling loved, cared for and secure, and that makes for a happy child. Now lastly, I want to let you know the importance of our emotions, actually in negative emotions. When we feel negative emotions, they're trying to tell us something. We're feeling them for a reason. And this is an invitation to work out what they're really telling us. If we're feeling frightened, there's a good reason. There's possibly a risk of danger or concern. If we feel sad or worried or anxious, there's a reason for these feelings too. And we should explore them in order to resolve them. However, mostly because we don't like feeling them ourselves, we teach our children to dismiss these feelings, and that's a harmful thing to do. We often tell children, cheer up, don't cry, it'll be all right, stop grizzling for goodness sake, or should we get some sweets? Do you want to go to McDonald's? How about let's go and buy that book you wanted? See, these dismissive comments serve to teach our children that negative emotions are to be ignored. However, the healthiest thing to do is to explore these emotions. You may need to second guess why your child is crying if it isn't obvious. You feel sad? Do you want a hug? Or maybe something like, I know it's not nice to lose a football match. I know that makes you feel angry or disappointed or sad. Give me a hug. You will not only help your child feel better, but you will be helping their brain to grow vital neural connections as they learn to deal with sadness, disappointment or failure. And this, of course, creates resilience, the best gift you could give to your child. So thank you for watching, and look out for more videos in this series.